Okay, I reckon we're live. Good evening and welcome to Emergency Hedge. This is the channel where Jessica teaches me Netrunner.
And Dave teaches me how to play Arkham Horror.
Awesome. How are you doing today, Jessica?
I'm really good. I had a really nice day
I'm so glad.
of all of the things I was supposed to be cancelled. So I just tried out new makeup looks all day long. That's what I
Channel
did.
where Jessica teaches
I
me
was like,
Netrunner.
I I can hear that through your end state.
Yes, me too. I've just turned the volume down. Sorry about that.
Cool.
We did that to you last time as well, didn't you? You were speaking and then we spoke at you.
It's
Professional.
survival. Well, we're getting. Hey, last week we had a stream that didn't like drop randomly halfway through, or I didn't think either of us had to reboot. I think I went to the bathroom at one point, and that was the most unprofessional thing that happened on the entire stream. So like, we are getting better.
I reckon so. I'm proud of us.
This week I've come to like the correct room in my house to do it.
Awesome.
I've dressed up a bit. Like we're doing that stuff.
I noticed you're not wearing your headphones.
I'm using Bluetooth.
Oh.
Bluetooth to go with my blue app.
Awesome. Fantastic. So, do you want to run us through what we're doing today?
Yes. Well, we're going to talk a bit about all of the there's been so much news, and we could not possibly cover it all on our little channel. So we're going to select some choice bits that we either think are particularly interesting, or perhaps particularly involve one or the other of us. And then after that, we're going to continue playing the first module of what's this called, Dave? Ice and Death.
Ice and Death. It's Ice and Death Part 2.
Ice and Death Part 2.
Yeah, I hope we finish it today because I'm running out of fractions to append to Part 2. I think we had Ice and Death Part 1 and Ice and Death Part 1, Part 1, and then Part 1, Part 2. And now we've had Ice and Death Part 2 and 2.5. This is 2 3/4. So, yeah, it's... if we keep going, it will start to become quite a good bit. But at the moment, we're in this sort of liminal zone where it's not quite a bit yet, and it's just a bit weird. We'll see.
I've got some resources on the Dewey Decimal System that I could send you. We could start using that.
That does sound like the kind of thing that we need to put into practice if we drag the scenario out much longer. Cool. Which of the things should we talk about first? Let's. Should we talk about some cards first, or should we talk about the exciting week that you've had?
Let's start with cards, I think.
Yep. Okay. Over we go. Cool. I hope that you can see the card on my screen and that everyone else can as well. Oh, can you hear me still, Jessica? That's a bit alarming because I can't hear you. What could have made that happen? I'm thinking this is probably a Discord issue. Let me see if I can play everyone some noises and see what happens. Is that a possibility? Oh yeah. Jessica's popping in and popping out again. This is what happens when we start to say that our stream's been really professional. Yeah, the software starts letting us down. Ooh.
Yeah, that's solved that. Sorted it. I can hear you now.
Excellent. Okay, good. Did we both drop out at the same time?
Possibly. I couldn't hear a damn thing you were saying for about a minute.
That was the same experience that I had, and I assume that the stream had. How weird, because that's just to be unprofessional enough to discuss our tech issues live on stream. That happened at exactly the point that I shifted scenes in OBS, which I do not think should have changed anything in how Discord was handling anything. But anyway, I'm pretty certain that we can all see a card on our screen and we can hear each other. No? Oh no. Oh really? Okay, you can hear me, but I can't hear you. Right, okay. This is going to make a conversation about the card quite interesting. Shall I start talking about a card that I'm interested in? Yeah. Let's do that. Bum, 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 bum. I wanted to talk a bit about Adrian here. Adrian Sace, I guess. But why did I think this was an interesting card? I thought it was an interesting card for several reasons. One thing that I thought was relatively cool was the fact that NSG have brought back side games, and they've also created a sort of keyword for it, and it's a side game, which is a clever little nod to what I assume is the community term for this little thing where both players bid 0 to 2 credits and see if they got the same amount or not. Yeah, so I thought that was really cute. I think it's a really interesting card. So if the bids differ, I'm just going to read this out because I saw this several days ago and I don't remember it off by heart. If the bids differ, the runner cannot access cards other than this upgrade for the remainder of the run. So, and if the bids match, the runner cannot access this upgrade for the remainder of the run. So it's a kind of slightly unreliable roll the dice-ish upgrade that stops the runner from reliably being able to access cards in this server. Like if you are properly randomly distributing your bids, which I understand is not necessarily the case, but assuming you are, 1 in 3 times the runner can only access this card and has to trash it and come back, which I think is pretty reliable as a defense, as a defensive upgrade. Hi Jessica, I can hear you but not see you. Hey, I can see you and hear you. Excellent. You are stimulating most of my senses, and that's great.
Can I say some of my thoughts on things that you just said?
Yeah, please do. Please do.
So the things I like about this card are that it works exactly once. So if the runner loses the side game, presumably they wanted whatever was in the server rather than maybe on something, right? So if the runner loses the side game, they can go in and trash Adrian's size apart from in the handful of edge cases where they don't have 2 credits, or the court poses a hostile from your way in, or whatever. But 9 times out of 10, they get in, they trash Adrian's size, so they can come back and try again. So it's it's a one-off. But what I love is that the other side of that is that on those occasions when it fails, it doesn't get trashed. It doesn't get access on those occasions. So it works once and exactly once.
Yeah, yeah. And yeah, obviously there's some fun subtleties.
You've gone silent.
Have I gone silent?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think I'm talking. I can hear you. Oh man, this is so vexing, isn't it?
Only happens. I use Discord for chat quite a lot, and this only happens when we're trying to stream. This thing that I've noticed.
Okay, so what are we going to do about it? You can't hear me say that.
So, may I suggest that we both completely drop this Discord call and start it again?
Yeah, let's do it.
In fact, I'm going to completely reboot Discord.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll do that. I won't. Yeah, I'll disconnect us, and I think people can still hear me talking. I'll just check my levels here. Yeah, that's still happening. I will just tell Jessica to restart the call when she's ready. Yeah, I mean, I think the point that Jessica made is actually a really interesting one. Fans of the show, if there are any, might remember me talking at some length about the only Netrunner deck that I've ever really got very deep into, which is one that I made using Nanocivic Grid. And I made that deck and I published it, and I made quite a long deck list rant about it and various things. And one of the things that I liked a lot about Nanoscific Grid was that, so I was using in Thule as a core to give the runner core damage, and I liked very much that you could either use it to do something nasty to the runner or end the run. So it was a bit more powerful than Adrian here, because you could use it more than once, but there was quite a clear way to dismantle it, and that's the case with Adrian as well. I mean, it's a bit more straightforward than Nanoscific Grid.
Howdy.
Hey. Okay, let me try and pop us out, and I hope that this will be visible to everyone again. Let's see. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, I think we are visible to everyone. Let me just get us set up so that we can see everything. There we go. Okay. Can you still hear me?
I can still hear you.
Excellent. I think that means we are back on and back working.
Fantastic. Thank you for your patience, everyone.
Thank you very much. Let's hope that this lasts. So I was riffing on your comments about Adrian and talking about my adventures with Nanoscific Grid, and how one of the things that I quite liked about that was that you could, well, I was using it as a core damage mechanic, and you could use it to core damage the runner, or you could use it to end the run, but you couldn't do both, and there was a way to dismantle it, and like that. So it was a bit more involved than this, and like, I don't propose to derail our Scoopy Arkham stream by debating the rights and wrongs of banning Nanoscific Grid, but like, there was a way to dismantle it, and if the runner was coming into archives with the intention of dismantling it, you could stop them for as long as you had face up ice, but you couldn't really do anything else to them. Like, as far as certainly with the card pool I was using, there wasn't any end the run and do a horrible thing subroutines that you could use. But yeah, I think you make a good point about Adrian, and I like that he's safe if he doesn't work.
Yeah, I think it makes him much less swingy than it would be otherwise. It makes it much less all or nothing. And to be honest, if as a corporation, I mean, border control is a hell of a card, right?
Yeah.
And so, like, in theory, Adrian says if you can make him fire is also something to don't get on the turn. When he fails, you do then have to spend 2 credits and make another run, if you can do that, to like assure yourself of getting in. And there are also so another thing I would say about Saigon is a mistake pretty much everyone makes, and I feel with Saigon, is assuming that these numbers will, like, oh, it's just a 1 in 3 chance. It isn't even slightly, because the difference between 1 credit and 2 credits in this game is huge. And you are spending 0 credits is huge. And you are spending those credits. And it is both of you are making a value judgment about this bid. A fun thing I worked out a long time ago is that the optimal thing to do when you play Sky Game, if you're against a live opponent, is to roll it, like, make it very obvious that you are rolling a dice behind your hand to randomize what bid you're going to make, and then bid 0 anyway.
Yeah.
If you want to bid the same amount as them. Because if you, or if you want to bid a different amount, bid 1. Because the moment you make it clear that you're being random, your opponent will choose 0, because there's no incentive for them to do anything else now.
Yeah.
And you now have that information. Which is why it's a side game, because it's all mind gaming.
I'm so glad you came back on, because I was, when you were at one point when you were off stream, I was basically saying there was a 1 in 3 chance. I did caveat that, but this was the kind of expertise that I was missing during my attempt to fill. Did you?
I heard you saying that, and I could not respond, and it was like a special kind of Uh, I was screaming at my laptop, like pounding my fist on the table. Like, Dave, no, it's not. It's more complicated than that. Let's nuance to it.
This is the vibe that we're looking for on our streams. Um, I'm happy to say that at one stage, Null Signal Games could hear both of us, and they commented on the stream. So thanks for that.
Oh, sick.
Um,
Hello, no signal games. They like the game.
yeah, it's good. It's good. We're enjoying it. Had some more chat about Adrian though, which is more Laurie actually. Well, first of all, I think I'm right in saying that side games were not called side games before; they were called side games, or did I misunderstand that?
I think that you misunderstood that.
Okay, that's always been it's always been a thing.
I think it might not have been keyworded, but I think it was always called something.
Okay,
PSI.
okay. So I just misheard it. I thought it was SIDE the whole time.
Well, we're all learning.
Yeah, that's great. So this is the shtick of our channel. Go us. So my other question is relatedly actually. So I don't think I knew before I saw Adrian's short story that psychics were a thing in Netrunner.
Really?
Yeah, I think that's just completely passed me by.
Now, I've had a busy week with one thing or another, and while I've been trying to keep up with all of the lore, Adrian's story is not one that I've read yet. I do know it. I do know a little bit about what it's about. Yeah, Kentucky build psychics. That's one of the things they do. And because like my understanding is part of the reason that they got into cloning was to clone the handful of people who are psychic and to like keep those powers hanging around.
Ah, okay. So right, yeah. So the Nisei models are all psychic. That's one of the like items, that sort of themes in the story, and that's from an original psychic person who's then been cloned.
That's my understanding,
Yeah.
but I would be very happy to be corrected by any and everyone. So I'm just looking at our comments.
The wizard has stepped out from behind the curtain. Welcome, Ed. Good to have you with us.
Hey, good to see you.
Can you hear it when I'm notified about the chat happening?
No, I've opened a little window now, so I can at least pop back and forth if I want to.
Cool. That's cool. The short story was really good, by the way, the Adrian short story.
Yeah, I've heard it's very good. I've heard it's kind of heavy.
Yes.
So I'm trying to like find a time where it's like I've got half an hour where I won't be needing to like operating heavy vehicles or do heart surgery or whatever, which my whole life is about.
Yeah.
Sit down and read it.
It was slightly jarring reading the story and then seeing the card art where Adrian looks really cool, because in the story, without spoiling anything, he does sound like a cop sharing donuts with another more junior cop, and he's exactly the kind of person that we are wishing a bad day upon, as a very important central part of our identity. And I won't say anything more, but let's chat about the story afterwards, because I thought it was really excellent.
I mean, like another time, I think we should have a discussion about like part of the joy of Netrunner is being able to play entities that are truly and unapologetically evil. Like that's part of why I like this thing.
Yeah. I mean, like, what else is PE for if not reveling in being just a massive bastard?
Yeah. Right.
Should we move on?
Shall we? Yeah, please.
Do you want to talk about Beatrice or Oppo Research?
I do.
Let's do Beatrice.
Let's do Beatrice first. So Beatrice is my fiance. Sorry, Alexander's fiance. I apologize. I was making mistakes. Beatrice is Alexander's fiance. I'm finding it really hard to gauge how good or not this card actually is. My first reaction to it is that it is bad, that this is a bad card. You do not, certainly on its first use, you have paid 3 clicks and 2 credits for an extra access.
Mm.
And the big assumption this card is making is that the corp hasn't iced up HQ very well. So there's a bunch of matchups then where it's just like a bit of a dead draw. And yeah, so there's been a lot of stuff we've seen spoiled where the payoff is access one additional card. And with a lot of it, I've been like, I don't think that's a good enough payoff. I'm just saying. It's very, very weak multi-access. All of this said, I will build somewhere between 4 and 8 decks trying to make this work before I give up on it. Obviously, I will want to make the deck that is just like all of the lore stuff, this and the roller skates and the specific breakers that Arizona has, because I'm really just I'm an easy mark, and NSG have done something that I love, and I'm going to go wild for it. And at some point between now and Worlds, I will have a Dark Night Time of the Soul where I have to admit that, at the very least, all of the lore all the time deck is very good, because it won't be, and give up on it and have to it'll have to give up on the idea entirely. I'm going to be so sad.
I mean,
I think there's a good. The idea, I think, is strong. I don't think this is very strong.
I've got so many things to say. I mean, first of all, you may be an easy mark, but I have to say NSG have played themselves by creating a highly desirable product that they're essentially allowing us to play for free, and they're not getting paid. So, who's the real mug here? That's my first reflection. Second of all,
fools energy.
It's not really in the spirit, is it, of Netrunner to not be extracting value ruthlessly with no regard to propriety or common decency or anything like that. It's a bad tie-in with the narrative. But that aside, I wonder. I don't disagree with your. Oh wow! Now we're commenting on our own stream. This is getting very meta.
Yeah.
Did you just say
that was me?
That was you. Okay. Awesome. I don't necessarily disagree with your analysis. I think with all of this access one additional, these things need to be stacked, right? I think.
Yeah. I've not seen stuff that does yet, though. I guess this would stack with Mercury. But it's a bit weird if this is a better card for Mercury than it is for Arizona, which I guess this stacks with. What's the wording on Conduit, actually? Would you mind getting Conduit up for me?
Not at all. Now watch me be dyslexic and not be able to spell. Here we go. Conduit. No, that doesn't stack right. It's a separate clickability.
Yeah, it's a successful run. Oh, it's a separate clickability and it's a successful run rather than breach. So it doesn't stack.
Yeah, it does. It does give you a counter on Conduit. Beatrice does give you a counter on Conduit, if I understand it.
That's true. It's still a lot of resources for something that the turn. Okay, you play this game, right? And you get to fire it off 2 or 3 times before the cork goes wild and triple stats HQ or whatever.
Yeah.
So here's the thing: if HQ is open, but you can get into R&D. If you can get into R&D at all, I don't think you play this, because I don't think spending the extra click to
access one more,
I just don't think it's worth it.
Yeah.
A lot of the time in this game, you won't run an open central server unless you've got multi-access or something else to improve the value of that run.
Yeah.
And this is saying, do you just raw on it? You can't do a dirty laundry with this. You can't do overclock. It's a card that Arizona is going to absolutely love, and you cannot overclock when you're playing this card.
Twinning works with this. This is good with twinning, right?
Yeah, it's because it's winning.
Yeah.
It doesn't charge with winning, but like
Yeah.
it's not actively hostile with winning, which is some other
They
cards.
combo.
Yeah.
My other thought was, one of the pet cards that I have not played from Borealis, but would love to, Basilar Synth Gland. If I got that right.
Yes.
Yeah, 2 core damage, 1 extra click a turn.
Yeah.
Suddenly the extra click on this is relatively less
A lower
expensive.
cost. Yeah.
I'm not necessarily making a case that redeems this card, but it's a thought.
Yeah. I mean, like, I'm going to have to work it out one way or another. Like, there is a small but significant possibility that NSG saw how funny it would be to put people like me in the situation where they have to try and make these cards work together.
Ah,
Well,
it's mugs within mugs, isn't it?
yeah.
It's a mug switcheroo. Ed says this feels good in Accio and Nyashia ?
Yes.
Please tell us what those cards do. Or tell me anyway. Obviously, you know, and Ed knows.
Accio, I know. Accio is the Shaper runner who, when you root R&D, I want to say, you, if you look up Shaper runners, so I can't remember exactly how to spell it, you undercorp do a side game, in fact, and if
Akiko.
if the runner wins that side game, then you get to see an extra card.
Yeah.
And 2 clicks for 3 cards, I will do. 2 clicks for 2 cards, I'm not particularly.
That's definitely good. How about Nyashia?
So I mean, Ed, let's just whenever you access cards from R&D, so that's like it does work well with the Kiko. Ed, you're absolutely right. But the problem with the Kiko in this case would be that Kiko isn't Arasana, and so I just don't like to. Beatrice would be in this situation cheat on Arasana, so like it doesn't work.
Yeah. I've got Nyashia. Yeah, that's a good shout. I mean, that's a similar sort of thing to the 20, except you don't need to charge it. You've got pre-installed power counters.
Yeah,
and it's a 1-for-1 exchange when you access by the looks of things.
Yeah, and so here you have Nyashia, and if it's power counters, I guess Padma might work really well.
Mm-hmm.
And then Beatrice, I could see that being a nice combo.
Yeah,
but it's nice. It's not like overwhelming.
Yeah. Was Beatrice the named character that we had in the short story?
Yes.
She was.
Her nickname, so like she is. So the thing I'd like to know is here, she is a chemist.
Yes.
In the story, she is. In the story, she is a fellow like rollerblader punk lady. So I don't I can believe a person does move. People can contain multitudes. I am assuming they haven't named 2 characters within this Beatrice, and this is the same woman.
I think if they were, it would be odd for them both to be Shaper cards, right?
Yes.
It would be odd for Arasana to have a love interest who was named in a novella, and that love interest to share a first name with an unrelated card in faction. It would be an odd choice. I think maybe there's something going on here just about how street revolutionaries, for want of a better word, often lead quite dual existences.
Yeah. And that brings us onto the flavor text on this card, which I absolutely love, which is just, so you can tell me what sort of practical applications this has.
Oh, man,
and of course, like the experiment she's doing is exactly the sort of thing that you could use to, for example, make explosives.
Ah, cool. is that smoke coming out or like pink goo?
So this is an experiment that genuinely happens in like children's laboratories all the time. But science lessons.
Yeah.
I use the phrase children's laboratories, which is not correct. Science lessons.
Children's laboratories is what they have in Genteki, right?
Yeah,
Not
pretty
classrooms.
much so. And this is called elephant toothpaste, this experiment.
Ah,
And it's it's something with peroxide, I think.
okay.
But we have reached the edge of my knowledge of this subject.
Ah, yeah. I mean, my work involves a little bit of knowledge about explosives, but not. I don't really approach it from a chemistry angle.
Yeah.
Ed is asking if we saw the chemistry board review of this card. I certainly did not. I've been that probably it fills in the knowledge that we're both grasping for now and filled in. So
Yeah.
I would urge everybody, including ourselves, to watch it because that sounds good.
What I will say is that someone did point out to me this girl, kind of like furthest to the back
Yeah.
out of the three, just has the most amazing. Oh my god! Oh, kind of face.
Yeah, I had a sort of yelp
One
of
my friends
joy.
calling that.
I had a yelp of
Yeah.
joy when I zoomed in on this card well enough to see her expression. That is great. So good. Yeah. I mean, that double life thing, that's a really interesting conversation that I could completely derail.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's a super interesting theme if that's what's being explored here rather than some weird naming duality.
Yeah, I would love to see another card called, and if I happen to get this right, it's not to have any insider information, called Bad Beats, which is like her street name
Yeah.
that does something that synergizes really well with this. That's the thing I would absolutely love to see. But if we get that, we get it. If we don't get
it. Ed is going to DM a link to the thing. Yeah.
Oh,
Bad Beats is why I didn't properly initially recognize Beatrice. It's like I being a cool person myself, think of her with her cool street name, not her given name,
yeah,
not her chemistry lab name. Shall we move on?
Yes.
To Oppo research.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look how small it is. Let's see if we can get this.
You could zoom in.
Let's try and zoom in. Yeah, I feel really sad now that I can. There we go. It's not as high resolution, I think. But anyway, we both kind of felt that this card has been talked about a lot, but it is certainly a significant card in the release, something that everybody has been anticipating. We have spoken about a bit on stream, speculation wise, so we both kind of wanted to have a little chat about it.
Yeah. The TLDR is I like to think it's good. I think this is the right direction for NFC have clearly put a huge amount of thought into this specific card. Like this, because what this place is hard-hitting news, in case anyone wasn't aware, and hard-hitting news defined not just the last matter, but the last 3 or 4 matters in like a really, really significant way. I don't think this card is quite as strong. It has some ways in which it's a little bit stronger and some more important ways in which it's less strong.
Yeah.
I think hard-hitting news was extremely cruel to new players in a way that this card isn't.
Yes, I think it's a fairer card.
I think it's a fairer card. I think it's a fairer card. I think it's a more interesting card. I think a lot of hard-hitting news matchups, you got to a point where the runner hits a certain threshold of credits or certain credit differential with the corp, and the corp had to abandon their hard-hitting news plan entirely.
Yeah.
This card says, actually, that plan is kind of, in one way at least, that plan is always online.
Yeah.
You can play this card and give the runner 4 tags when they're on 50 credits, and they're probably still going to have to spend a turn getting rid of them. And that is the turn that you have to win the game, or whatever else it is you need to do. Or if they don't respect you and don't decide to spend the time doing it because they can see you're doing something more threatening, now you can maybe bring out your turn machine. Or maybe you have some way to make it so they don't have 4 clicks on the next one and they can't clear all the tags. I think it's I think it's got more angles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, as the resident neophyte, I hesitate to opine on this, but it strikes me that this is a better designed card, and it makes me just super excited for NSG's stewardship of the game. I think like going back to the cards that are significant and tweaking them as they, putting a tweaked replacement in as they rotate out is, as well as like chucking a whole load of exciting cool stuff that wasn't necessarily there before or hasn't been there for a while. I think it's a really great way to approach what they're doing, and it makes me really excited to be playing the game and excited to get into these cards. I'm pretty hyped about just like generally the role that tags seem to be playing in the release so far.
There was when people used to argue about hard-hitting news and CTM and all of these other sort of tag places, they'd be like, yeah, it turns tags into a non-binary resource. It makes them more interesting. And that like became almost a bit of a meme because like it wasn't that much more interesting whether you have like one or two. I think it's starting to get really fucking interesting. What exactly how many tags you've got.
We've gone from a meta where more than 2 tags was a death sentence to one where numbers of tags is a much more variegated kind of status that you might have. And I hope that will make the gameplay more interesting.
I think it will.
Yeah. Ed is saying it's a great use of threat and the card's really well designed. 100%. It sounds from what's been said that like threat and this card were kind of co-conceived, or like there was a sort of interplay between the concept for this and the design of the threat mechanic, and that totally makes sense. Like it, I mean, lots of people have been saying that threat sounds as the ring of a thing that everyone wishes they thought of sooner, and I can see how when you were talking about HHN and its ups and downs, its high points and low points, why you might settle on a mechanic like threat, or it has a need for a mechanic like threat to create a more balanced version.
I think there are just some like really fascinating interactions with this card. All right, it's like your NBN who are let's say Asmaring, and your turn 1 against any runner who's not criminal is to install and double advance a card in a remote server.
Yeah.
As the runner, do you even run that card? Or like if you run it and you see Bologna, it's going to feel like you can't see it because now it's going to turn on this Oppo research. Admittedly, it was always the case that you'd be like, I don't know, should I steal a Bologna?
Yeah.
But like, I think there are going to be these interesting edge cases where you don't want to steal or you don't want to score an agenda at this exact second because you're not prepared for the payback that would come from the direct card.
Yeah. No, I foresee having a lot of fun with this. I have a question about this. On daily casts, Jeff claimed to see a bathtub in this card, and I've had a really hard look. I don't want to dunk on someone who was just like chatting live, because I do know how easy it is to talk nonsense chatting live, but I cannot see a bathtub anywhere in this card. Any joy?
No.
Please, anyone watching, if you can see a bathtub, please say so in the comments.
My read of what's going on like the left-hand side of the screen is that this gentleman here appears to have like maybe made a visit to an exotic nightclub somewhere where there is a stripper pole in the middle of the stage. And NSG being the wonderful people they are, they have not made like a drastically sexualized image of that. They've created an image where you can tell that's what's happening, but like maybe I have horny brain and I'm seeing something there that's not there. But like it would make sense in terms of Oppo research, right? You like follow your opposition around and find out what they're like be like, this person They say they believe in human rights, but did you know that they have a sex drive? Like, it seems like an entirely reasonable thing to have happened in this universe.
Absolutely. Yeah. I Ed is saying it's Lou. I hope we get to hear a bit more about Lou's cat friend. That's my little quiet hope
Um,
for this cycle. If we're flagging up characters who we want to see a bit more of.
yeah,
Cool. Should we move on? We
yes,
have some other exciting things to discuss.
we do.
So,
Under the watchful eye of NSG.
yeah, you. No, it's not NSG anymore. It's Ed. It's
Okay.
definitely completely different. NSG left at
Yeah,
almost exactly the same time Ed appeared. We finished our last stream with some hints about something exciting happening on Monday, and then something
we
exciting did
did.
happen on Monday.
Yes, we did happen.
Would you like to talk about the exciting thing that did happen?
So on Monday, there were obviously scoops, and one of the groups of scoops, was going to come from a content creator who has largely pivoted now to uh, streaming the Harry Potter TCG, which is something that in JLC we make a huge effort not to promote, and we just don't have any like content for it because for a lot of trans people, like it's I am reluctant to use the word triggering. I'm sure some trans people it is actually triggering.
Mm.
My experience of it is just to like it's just like a bad taste in your mouth. Like it's just like a real downer to have to think about that and to like have to wonder a little bit what the values of the community that you're in are if they are promoting that kind of thing. And we don't want to do that. That was a policy before I came along, and I absolutely 100% agree with it. Um, so, what we decided to do at GLC is we decided that we would, instead of connecting to that channel and like guiding people towards a place where we didn't think they would be safe and respected, we decided to give those feats to a group of full trans to just like spoil on GLC at around the same time
Yeah.
that this individual was really rescued. And hey, guess what? Turns out I'm a trans now.
I was
And
about to
also,
say, is one of those trans Netrunner players in the room with us today, Jessica?
and also, it was like a little bit of my idea. So it turned out that I caught one of the scoops, which happened, in fact, to be Adrian Thomas. So
Ah,
yeah, that was my specific one.
I'd not drawn the. I was so. I actually found what you wrote really moving, so I was concentrating on that more than on what the actual card was.
That was pretty sweet. I really glad those. Um, I talked to the person who's in that the other day. Like, somebody noticed, and then it kind of like cracked my eggs for the whole group, and we had a little conversation about it. It's been a really nice week. Um, yeah, so me and three trans friends who I had, three people I've made friends with because of them as
Mm.
well, like including my best friend at the moment, not even, and like yeah, it was a bit stressful because we were all like planning it in secret, and we didn't really know exactly how it was going to go and whether it was going to be like massively controversial and really stress a lot of people out. And we did our very best to make it not like that, and instead a like celebration of the the trans experience of playing Netrunner, which is like a real thing. Like, as we saw from some of the stories, like people have very specific connections to this game due to the fact that they are trans, and like stories about like how it relates to their identity. You know, I certainly do. I'm sure there are local stories out there. Which brings me on to my next point, which is that instead of hating it and getting angry with me and me having DLC, which was one of those things I thought might happen, NFG actually really liked and they are going to make it a regular fixture not the bit where a problematic streamer gets given Scoops, the bit where we scoop some cards on GLC or maybe somewhere else. And they're kind of like community scoops from marginalized parts of the community. It won't always be trans people. It would be good to like have some variety. But yeah, we're starting that process now. I'm going to like whip up another little gang and do something for Scoopsmas. So in fact, if you're watching this and you're thinking to yourself, well, I'm a marginalized Netrunner player, and I've got a story about like how this game being really inclusive has affected my life, then I'm Marbles with 5 S's on Discord, and we'll say the channel, and you should definitely contact me about it.
That's a really awesome thing to have come out of this. I'm really happy.
It is. Yeah. Really happy to.
Do we have any other news to chat about, or should we move on to Arkham?
We have plenty of news that we could chat about, but I feel like it's Arkham time.
It's Arkham time.
Let's go.
Yeah. There's actually Let's go. There's actually some Arkham news that we could chat about, but I don't propose to. I'll just say that we are getting our first parallel investigator. Our first of the new parallel investigators has sort of dropped.
Yes.
Do you remember me talking about them? Okay. It's like remixes of existing investigators is probably the best way to describe the parallels.
Cool.
But people have got hold of the card details, but I don't think he's been officially released, and I think we should be playing Arkham rather than talking about him.
Cool. Yeah, let's do that.
It's Parallel Pete. Controversially, it's Parallel Pete without his trusty hound Duke. But anyway,
interesting.
Let's return to the icy wastes of Antarctica. So, where had we got to, Jessica? I know that we definitely ended around. That much I can say.
Which would mean it's a mythos phase next.
Yeah, right? Yeah, I think so. But what are we trying to do? So we've got a servitor on the treacherous path, me on the rocky crags, or Dexter on the rocky crags, I should say, and you in the icy wastes, where you belong.
Yeah. My plan is to fit a barrier camp and get as many on barrier camp as I can. Your plan is to selflessly sacrifice all of your cards to get make the icy wastes accessible, and then we'll clue spam that as well.
And then we will reconvene in the Crystal Caverns, right?
Yes, if that's where. Yes, indeed, that is exactly where we're going to have sort of personality that we need.
Yeah. Cool. But sounds like a fun evening ahead of us, doesn't it?
It does. It seems like it feels like a straightforward plan. What we're going.
I think it's going to be just fine. We're in a benign environment full of nice people like the Netrunner community, and we're not really in a benign environment. Yeah.
No. Are there 2 cards in this deck?
In the agenda deck, yes, there are 2 cards in the agenda deck. Okay. So we're going to go to 3 of 5.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to pull an encounter card.
Yeah. Ice Shaft. So that's test for agility, a damage for each frost token, and 2 damage if you fail.
It actually tests 4, right? Because I'm on quick.
That is correct, yeah.
So I'm probably going to take 2 damage here, and that's fine. Do I have any way of? I might be using these cards in my hand because
you do have neither rain nor snow.
Yeah.
If you're very against taking damage, that might be a card. Yeah,
I'm going to stop overthinking stuff. I I actually kind of just need to get cards out of my hand. So I'm going to do this test at +4.
Yeah, I think you should. I'm just looking at your discard pile to see whether I want to suggest that you use resourceful as well. But no, you've done that recently. You've got to look what I found in hand. Okay, the cultist is a -2.
And I haven't failed, so I'm...
Awesome. Cool. I am going to draw an encounter card, and I've got a Frenzied Explorer.
Right.
No, that's hooray, huzzah, amazing, beautiful, frabjous day, Kalukale. I hope you like power words, because that's the trick I've got up my sleeve. Frenzied Explorer enters play with a doom on it.
Yeah.
If Frenzied Explorer is successfully evaded by 2 or more, the doom becomes a clue and the explorer gets discarded.
Excellent.
So that obviously needs to be dealt with. How many? So we are on 3 now, 4 of 5. Oh.
Yeah.
The number of cool tricks I can do immediately shrinks with that doom situation. So yeah, I don't think I can do anything cool. Is that right? I can get it to cower and go. Yeah, I can basically get it to exhaust and move around. But what I really want is for the clue to go away and it to stick around, and I can send it. Sorry, there's doom to go away, and I can send it clue gathering, which I can't really do. Okay. Right, that's disappointing.
Yeah.
I probably need to have
such premium.
It is, yeah. Because we had a round end early, didn't we? Not a round, an agenda flip early when we got a double whammy of Ancient Evils and that gooey-eyed explorer guy. Yeah. So I think my turn has just revealed itself to be. I don't even know what I can do here. I think I probably need to use power word to cower the Frenzied Explorer. But I'm not sure I've got a good plan for evading it. Do you?
What's plan? 2. I mean, I'm decent at evading. I'm 4, and I could just commit a bunch of. It's 2 or more. 2 or more, right?
By 2 or more, yeah. Bear with me just a second. What do you need, darling?
I think my biggest issue with evading it is going to be getting to it.
I mean, the one good thing about power word is
you muted yourself from what you were saying.
Right. I was going to say the one good thing about power word is that I can get it to you, or part of the way to you.
Cool. Let's do that. Actually, can you send it to the barrier account?
That's my intention. Yeah.
Fantastic. Let's do that.
Okay, hang on a second. What is it you want? Tell me what you want. Okay, I fetched the thing that I needed to go and fetch.
Correct.
So, shall I do that first? That makes sense if you're going to be ending up doing the evading, doesn't it?
Yeah, because we need to sort it out this time.
We do. Sadly, it would have been
So,
great if this had come on the previous turn when I was whining about it on Saturday. Okay, so I'm going to spend 3 and play Power Word.
Which of NOS used all of the cards on something that didn't matter very much and saved them for this instead.
What was that? Sorry.
Never mind. The 2 cards I sent on my encounter card, my encounter card didn't matter much, but I could have taken 2 damage and not worried about it.
Yeah.
I should have saved those cards for something like it matters quite a lot. This is a turn that would probably I've got 8 now. It's not very good.
Yeah. It's not an asset under my control, is it? No, it's a event. Okay, so I play Power Word on the Frenzied Explorer, and that's a fast action, so it's a fast card, so it doesn't cost me an action. And
yeah.
I activate the ability on Power Word. I am allowed to give it more than 1 command, but I think I just want it to move to the barrier camp, right? Because we want to have it unexhausted, so it will engage you and you can evade it.
Yes.
Okay, so that's a single command. Over it goes to the barrier camp.
Okay.
That's my first action. For my second action, God, this enemy's really messed things up. I think I just need to move now the less direct route over to where you are.
Yeah.
1, 2, and that's my turn. Except the summoned servitor takes an investigate action at base 4.
Yeah.
And 2 up. That's a curse token and a skull. So I think that's probably a failure.
Yeah.
Half the shelter
like
value of my location. Yeah, so that's -3 altogether. Never mind, servitor. At some point,
your location or the servitor's location.
I think it's
okay. No,
I think it's my location. In any case,
it'd probably be around with us anyway.
Yeah, it's immaterial in this case, but I think it's me.
Okie dokie. So is it my go?
It is your go, yes.
All right, let me just make sure I'm not misreading anything. Because I want my attempt to evade to be my 3rd action as a minimum.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, my first action is to move.
Yeah, that makes sense.
At which point this thing engages me, I see.
Yeah, with Power Word attached. I'll sort that out. Tell me, behave yourself. Tabletop to me later. Yeah. There we go. Okay, that works well enough.
So I'm tempted to draw him for my first evasion attempt. The problem being, if it's somehow still successful, that's bad.
Okay, so you're moving, evading, and then expecting to evade again.
Yes, evade again. This time, like committing resources towards it, having drawn some cards, and hopefully getting even more good resources towards it. Yeah, this is the plan I'm doing.
Yep, do it.
So I will be on -3. So 1 versus 2, essentially.
Okay, yep.
Yeah?
Yep.
So anything worse than a +1, I lose.
Okay. That is a -3 for each point you fail by. Discard the top card of your deck. Draw each weakness discarded by this effect.
Okay. So I think I only failed by 2, right?
Yes,
Because
yeah,
we don't
you
go
can't
to
go
negative
to a negative value. That's right.
Oh, my favourite card.
Oh,
Oh, god damn it. That sucks. That
if
sucks really hard.
if only you were playing a class with a whole load of recursion.
Absolutely. So I did do that.
You did.
Uh, so I'm going to draw 3 cards.
Yeah, I think you should. Oh my.
Yeah, that makes sense. Cool.
So for the benefit of everyone at home, those were 2 weaknesses. One is called by the mists, which deals you damage if you initiate a skill test with a difficulty 4 or higher, and is a double action to discard. And Mob Enforcer, which is a hunter enemy that can be discarded by spending 4 resources.
Okay. I will deal with these next turn.
Yeah.
But that will be the whole of my next turn, unfortunately. What matters now is to deal with this Frenzied Explorer.
Absolutely, yeah.
So I'm difficulty now 1.
Yep.
I can play Resourceful,
Yep.
so that I'm 5 versus 1.
Yep.
I know what card I'll pick. Okay.
Frost Token.
No, incorrect. Not Frost Token.
Hooray! Go Avery Claypool. Avery, he's our man. If he can't cancel them, no one can. Actually, I just made that up, but that's actually correct as per the rules of the game.
Right. This has happened so many times now that
Yeah.
I'm beginning to suspect bugs. I swear this has happened at like 4, like, after you just now.
I just think that this game is a sentient force out to destroy us.
Fine.
And we just have to accept that that's how it rolls. Cool.
Okay, I beat it by 2 or more on Friday time.
You did.
Yeah.
So you get a
Card back.
survivor card back. The Doom token flips to become a clue token, which I'll pass on to you. The Frenzied Explorer gets discarded.
He does.
Sadly, my power word gets discarded. But it has...
Sorry about that.
Well, I think it's bought us a turn, hasn't it?
Yes.
By allowing us to get rid of that Doom. Admittedly, it has eaten up more of your turn than would have been nice, but you would have drawn those weaknesses probably this turn anyway, right?
Yeah, it might have been nice to not draw them both at once. We've got 1 more action to get rid of the Mob Enforcer, and frankly, 4 resources mean nothing to me.
Yeah.
So, bye.
Hooray. Cool.
Okay, that's my turn.
So
I'm pretty happy about it.
yeah, it's good. It's good. So the enemy phase, there are no enemies. We have dealt with them. And so we go to the upkeep phase. Oh, hey. I've drawn a very foxy lady with a cheeky smile.
Yeah.
And
I know it looks like a weakness, but it's not.
I think you have just drawn all of the weaknesses in your deck in one fell swoop, which like is a bit of
I
a...
thought you drawn the weakness. So yeah, like I'm.
Yeah, I've drawn both of my signature cards, but none of my weaknesses. Okay, let's do the Mythos phase. We now move to 4 of 5 Doom, and you draw an encounter card.
Yeah, let's do it.
Polar Vortex.
Attach my location. I end my turn at attach location.
You take a direct damage, and then it
Okay,
discards.
that's fine.
That is fine, isn't
cool
it?
with that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Because I haven't taken a single damage this game.
yeah.
And I think that in terms of resources, my damage is probably like I don't think I've got any soak or any healing is the only thing. I think I like literally might have none in the deck. But we are, by my estimate, 5 turns away from 5 or 6 turns away from the end of the game.
Almost certainly, yeah.
Yeah.
And you've got more damage and health than any other investigator that's ever been released for this game. You do have some soak, so you've got lovely Miss Doyle, who we've just seen, and you've also got 1 copy still of Granny Orne, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
so you've got a bit, yeah. But to be honest, any scenario where you have health and sanity left over, you've kind of not spent your time very well, or you've been extremely lucky.
yes.
Like that.
Which is why I'm feeling like maybe I don't spend half the turn getting rid of Pulled by the Mists. I just like take it on the chin a little bit.
I mean, potentially. Depends how often you're going to be initiating the tests. I mean, you could.
Yeah.
Is it? Yeah. So it's like every test at that level. This is a clever weakness actually, because without drawing thin and quick learner in your deck, it's a little bit of a whiff. But actually, with the cards that make Stella, as you are increasingly discovering, completely degenerate, it can start being quite mean quite quickly.
Yeah. The thing is, like I said, I've got 8 health. We've got 5 turns. I reckon this might fire up once as well.
Yeah.
So like, it's not gonna kill me on its own. If, as I suspect, it's just not that big a deal. If it turns out to be a big deal, I'll spend 2 actions to get rid of it. But right now, I'm not going to make progress again.
Yeah. Cool. I need to draw an encounter card, don't I?
You do.
I was so happy when I'd forgotten to do. Oh no, sorry. I think I didn't talk about it, but I did draw one. Let's put this one back. I haven't.
What's that?
The one that I drew is Antarctic Wind, which is also we just really don't give a shit about. Attached to the nearest location without a copy of Antarctic Wind attack. Attached, investigators at attached location cannot play cards or draw cards from the deck. Discard it at the end of the round.
We have got no interest in this location, right?
No.
we've got everything we want from that.
It's got a ominous name. It's not a cozy place, and there's no clues. I'm very happy to leave it behind. Do you want to go first, Jessica, or shall
I'm just investigating. So I suspect you have something more interesting to do on your time. Investigating.
I think so, yeah. Well, I've got an interesting quandary ahead of me, which is, do I... What do I do with the cards in my hand? So I would quite like to get Molly Maxwell down, but I don't think I want to boot the summoned servitor out of play in her favour. I think I want to accept that they're not going to get into play together, and I need to buy charisma during my next round of upgrades. Okay. So I think I would. Okay, we've got a plan here. I want to do Molly's. No, I want to do the servitor's action first. So that is investigate at base 4, and I'm going to commit Molly for 1 wild out icon, and I'm going to commit sleight of hand for 1 intellect icon. Is this sensible? Almost certainly not. No, this is a bad idea. I'm not going to commit either of those things because I will want them when I do my... I'm swanning around Antarctica dissing my poor spiky son, and actually he's a bit dim, but so am I. We both got the same intellect, and there's no point in me coming over to the icy waste and not being able to investigate them after all of this trouble. So I'll do the servitor first because I said I would. 2 up. Surely it's going to work this time. Yes, it's a -1. At last, the servitor does a thing. And I get one of these clues from the treacherous path. Look at me. I'm helping. I got us a clue, Jessica.
And now you just got your hand, right? I know you got it from the treacherous path.
I got it from the treacherous path. Now Dexter moves. Then Dexter investigates. We've still got a bit of a interesting quandary here, which is, do I want to do anything with the cards in my hand, or do I want to just accept that they're going? I think I'd rather hang on to Azure Flame. I can only have 1 spell at the moment because the servitor's taking up an arcane slot. I think I want to hang on to Azure Flame. It's better that I'm able to kill some enemies at some point than I do fun things with Dexter's ability, which is a shame because that's kind of what we're here, isn't it, for, is to do the fun stuff. But I will investigate. I'll commit Molly. I will commit sleight of hand. I am now 2 up. I'm actually much more stupid than the servitor. I succeed by 3. I exhaust like it's a great case. Oh, no, I don't do that. Don't do that. Let's check the timing here. So after you discover or take control of a clue, after you succeed. Oh, that just sucks so hard. Okay. I'm not going to use Lucky Cigarette Case because it will just draw a card that I'm going to have to discard.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I get a clue from the location. And I discard my hat. And discard the Polar Mirage as well.
We are actually... Did we work out how many clues we needed for this? It's 8 plus something. There was some number of... Do you think it would be reasonable that it's after reading it and it's not necessarily a test of memory, this game?
Say that again?
Would it be reasonable to look at this card, considering that we have had it exposed, and this game is not necessarily a test of memory?
Absolutely, it would absolutely be reasonable because it's also not designed to be played several days in installments over several days, and also by people who are trying to be interesting on stream at the same time. We need to spend resources to deal with Takada. So we do just need 8 clues as a group to be able to get into the crystalline cavern. So we're close.
Yeah.
I can't remember how many actions I've taken.
Okay.
I think I've moved and investigated, haven't I? Yeah.
2, and you did something with your service, which doesn't count, right?
Doesn't count, correct. I'm just going to draw a card because I feel a bit sad about having none. Sort of out of options. Okay. Ooh. Okay. Wow, that sucks. Okay.
I'm sorry, that's a true.
I think I was just saying that I hadn't won any more weaknesses. Now I have. Okay. Right.
Imagine if you use Lucky Cigarette Case and then that's just.
Oh.
Like you logically made the correct move.
Polar Mirage is discard each non-weakness card in your hand. They've thought of this, and they know that they don't want us to be happy or feel any joy in our lives. So they've anticipated exactly this scenario. How about you take your turn? I'm just going to sulk in the icy wastes for a short while.
Sure. I'm going to quickly. I probably should have been doing while you were taking your turn. I'm going to take a quick look at Hope Seal and Orgone.
Yep.
I don't want extra evade. I do want to gate at this point in my life, so I think it's going to be Augur, isn't it? Yeah.
I don't know the names well enough to. Oh, look, they're separated out. Yeah, okay. I was trying to search Augur, which I didn't need to do. Yeah. You don't. You have to randomly choose one to put into play. The other 2 go into your deck.
Oh. Okay. Okay, well, okay. Yeah, that's fair. I'm still going to play this cat because it's a cat.
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay. Like, I don't hate that.
Cool. So they both go into play. Yeah.
Where's this?
It's Slaughterless.
Yeah. Cool.
So anyway, yeah.
And these 2 get shuffled into my deck, I believe.
They do.
Like, I'm going to go into Augur pretty soon, aren't I? So I've only got 9 cards left.
Yeah.
And
your deck is approximately 1/4 cat at the moment. High feline density.
Right, fine. I'm going to do a drawing and quick learner, investigate, which pushes the difficulty to like 7 or something third. So I'm going to take a damage from Caught by the Mists.
Yep.
Let's just do that now. And it's 7 versus 2, so yeah, I failed this test. I don't even know why I'm looking at it. I failed the test. It's minus.
Well, I think we need to look at it to see if something nasty happens as a consequence of your failure.
Yeah.
But the skull generally is the skull is the one that generally scales through the scenario, but it tends not to have a if you fail, eat shit text attached to it.
Yeah. Oh, I will. It's resources, isn't it? This guy down here. How many do we need?
For the parlay for our missing aircraft mechanic, you mean?
Yeah.
We need 10, and I think we can do.
Cool.
3 in action. Yeah. So.
So I'll get resources off drawing thin, and draw a card with rabbit's foot because I have to draw a card with rabbit's foot.
Yeah. Do you remember how we've done it? Go on. What were you going to say?
It's my Tahiti the witness I've drawn.
Oh, fun times.
Which means I have to discard an asset, which I would prefer to have not had to do, but isn't the end of the world. I guess I was kind of trying to get rid of this cat, right?
Yes.
So I can have.
Yeah. I think discarding Zeal, the only drawback from it is that you can't use Zeal, which is the case with any asset that you discard. But I think if Zeal stays in play, you are looking to draw one of the other cats and then pay one to put one of the other cats into play, and that will knock Zeal out of play. And Zeal will be in your discard pile, available to be called back in at a stage in the future. So I think discarding Zeal now just means you can't use Zeal's ability.
I think this is correct.
Which I think is probably the weakest of the three of the 3 actions that you want. Fighting to do 1 damage is probably it's over here. Fighting to do 1 damage is probably the least efficacious. Investigating for just 1 clue is kind of okay, and evading is just evading. It's usually a 1 enemy effect, and you seldom have a need for it to be more.
Okay.
So what happens next?
What happens next is that I investigate twice. I'm just looking at
the embarrassment of riches in your hand.
Yeah, basically. Got so many good options. Another thing I could have done actually, instead of getting rid of that cat, I could have gotten rid of drawing thin and then played another drawing thin out of my hand. But
yeah,
right. Let's investigate and use this to do so. Putting the location on 3. And I am on 5.
Yeah. You're on 5?
Cool. Yes, because I have +1 from Quick Learner.
Yeah. I still don't understand how that adds up to 5.
Because I have 4 on Stella. +1 is mine.
4.
Yep. Oh, sugar puffs. I'm reading my debate instead of my intellect.
That would explain it.
Apologize. Do you mind if I do this test again? Having thought about numbers properly. What I would do is play perception into it.
I was going to suggest that we retcon that you played perception, because had you not made that mistake, that would be the obvious thing to do, and I was literally about to say you should play perception.
Okay. So now it's 3 versus 5.
Yes.
Sick.
Yeah.
No particular reason for me to like fail this on purpose, so I won't. I would instead. I think it's just 1 clue, unfortunately, isn't it?
That's correct. Yes. But you can
Okay.
play it again from your discard pile to get 2 clues if you want to now.
Yeah, that's the plan, isn't it? Yes. Okay. Like, even you're not that good, are you? Thinking about it,
not that pretty.
that's a way. Not that. It's just like investigate. I guess investigator 5 is actually quite.
Investigator 5 is
Beating
pretty
myself,
solid. It's pretty solid. And your clue acceleration is good, and you should use it as much as you can, but it's still tied to 1-use events, albeit one of them is like sick recursion 1-use event that bounces backwards and forwards from your discard pile to your deck.
So I think I'm just going to play Wing It this turn on the basis that I will be doing 2-3, and the worst thing that can happen is I say, look what, well, not the worst thing, but like if I fail, I probably fail by 2 or less.
Yes.
I will then play look what I found.
Yeah.
So I'm playing it 2 clues almost no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
So the issue, of course, is that I'm now spending quite a lot of resources to do this. Right, so it even 3 versus 3.
Oh.
That is an auto fail, which, to be fair, we've not seen a lot of this turn.
Not loads, no. There is a way in this mod to find out how many auto fails you've seen. Let me see if I can find it.
It just stays in my discard pile, so I can just do this over and over again, right?
No, you shuffle it into your deck. So you may play Wing It from your discard pile if you do shuffle it into your deck. So that's not tied to success or failure. That just happens.
Can I just check something? Which is whether there was already one in my discard pile. Because if so, I think I'd have played the one from my discard pile to begin with. There was already one in my discard pile.
Okay.
Can we retcon that I did the more sensible thing and played the one from my discard pile rather than the one was in my hand?
Yeah, of course. I mean, this is definitely file under what happens when you have several days partway through your play.
So I mean, actually, it's now better. The one thing I won't have to do is let the other one be in the discard pile, because that's.
Well, you've played it twice, right? So if you played the one in your discard pile first, that one goes into your deck.
That's true.
And then you can play the one in your hand, or you could do something else with that.
Yeah, we'll say yes. I think there are better things I could have done with that action if I'd already if there wasn't. But at this point, I think I'm fucking with stuff enough red on him, rather than being like, and then I would have taken the very best action possible.
Yeah, I agree. Your audio is just a little bit garbled, Jessica.
Is it? Do you want me to drop and rejoin?
No, I don't think it's that bad. I wonder whether maybe if you're just speaking a little bit closer to the microphone, I might pick you up a bit better.
Okay. Cool. I'm not using an external mic this time because for some reason that has caused issues in the past. I figured this might work a bit better, but maybe it will cause different issues. Okay, that is my turn.
Cool.
Can you hear me better?
I can hear you better. Yeah. I think it's. I think that's definitely. I think that's made a necessary change, a desirable change. There are no enemies. Let's do a mythos phase. Not an upkeep phase. That is interesting.
Okay. Oh, I take 2 damage. Okay, I'm going to have to get rid of this call by the myths, I think.
Why do you take 2 damage? Oh, to kill Ellie.
And 1 from Polar Vortex.
Yes, of course. I will just discard Antarctic Wind. Off you go. Fuckity bye. And through the ice stays there until one of us fails that test, doesn't it? That doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
Polar Vortex does go, though.
Yeah.
And Called by the Mist sticks around.
Cool. Mythos.
Indeed.
So we're about to fit this agenda, right?
We are indeed, yeah. So that's 5 doom. The agenda flips. And I'll reset the doom.
As you journey through the glacial wilds, you stumble across a set of tracks in the snow leading further from camp. You pause and investigate further. Were these tracks made by one of your missing team members, or by something more monstrous? Choose the face-down encounter card beneath the location. Look at that card without resolving its text. Then return it face down beneath that location. That's good. That's a good thing that's happened to us.
Definitely.
And I suggest we pick any location apart from the remnants of the camp, because they're equally likely to have what we're looking for, right?
Yeah. I just wanted to look at where we might possibly go. So we could, if we're going to go into the cavern, which we want to, we would need to we'd need to get 6 more clues from the snowdrifts and the snow graves to go through those 2 to come back. Or we could try and get 4 clues and just go back around to the snow graves. I agree that Lake's camp is the one that we're least likely to be able to get to.
Yeah. So I feel like it's which of these 2 we turn over, but maybe you have a different view.
I'm sorry, that was slightly hard to follow.
I think it doesn't matter much whether we use snow graves or broad snowdrifts in terms of which one we turn over.
Yeah.
The audio's still bad.
Yeah, no, it's doable. I was thinking then. I think let's look under the snowdrifts, because if it's there, then I think we do want to try and do the more circuitous route from the caverns. And if we know it's not there, then we probably just want to try and get enough clues to go to the snow graves from the top, and then head home. Does that sound reasonable?
Yeah. So let's look at broad snowdrifts then.
Yeah. Cool. Dead end. There is nothing here but snow and ice, and no sign of any missing team members. Frustrated, you turn back. You won't find anyone here. Remove 1 frost token from the chaos bag. Okay. Good to know.
Okay. Would you agree with the following sentence? Either the dude is in the snow graves or he can go fuck himself.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. I'm about to get the decent clue acceleration in my deck. When I say about,
Yeah.
I might have it working by the time we get to the crystalline caverns. That's what I actually mean.
Something that we should be aware of is the journey from the crystalline caverns to certainly this base camp, which I think is Icebreaker Landing.
Yeah.
I think is where we have to resign.
We have to. Yeah, I believe so.
So if you're at camp,
yeah, if you're
I mean,
at,
technically there are 3 camps.
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure that somewhere it's been made clear that the one that we chose is camp, and the other ones are not. Yeah, and it's a keyword that's been assigned to the location where we resigned from the part 1 of the scenario. I think that was in the setup instructions. So we have to make our way back there.
So getting there, yes, and getting there from the crystalline cavern is 4 moves.
Yep. Through barrier camp, and then if we want to go, if we want to go back to the snow graves, it's another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then back to camp is 1, 2, 3, 4, another 5.
Yeah,
it's a lot.
Yes, like I feel like if we get both of these people, we get them by splitting up. Remind myself one more time what this card says, if that's all right.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Like, you want to know how many turns it's going to take to. Oh, that's not what I asked you to do, computer.
It's actually 4 actions just to parlay her.
Yeah.
Which we can do together. You know, there's 3 actions of 3 resources and 1 of 1 resource. I propose that I do the 1 of 1 resource and you do the 3 with 3 resources. So, yeah. But that's still most of a round.
Both go here.
Yeah.
Yeah. But at that point, I feel like we lose the opportunity to get the other person, even if they are in this other place. Like, I think the only way in which we get that person is. Oh boy, yeah. The only way we get this other person is if we split up and do it with 6 turns left.
Mm-hmm.
Or do we just go, do you know what? Fuck me, if they're in the snow graves, we're going to Crystalline Cavern. Finally, as we've always dreamed of together.
Yeah, exactly.
We're going to get
squad goals.
Get this lady and then leave him.
Let's see how we go. But let's keep an eye on our 4 actions we need to get home.
Yeah. I will read this agenda.
Please do.
Madness and death. The storm grows closer, and with it gleaming in the sky, that damnable sound returns. It haunts you with its presence, worming its way into your mind. Is it the cause of folly? This madness. Cool.
Okay. I always do this when the agenda flips, which forget that we need to draw encounter cards, and then feel sad when I remember. Please go first.
Okay. Test willpower. Okay. This isn't too bad for me.
Yeah.
Oh shit, it's kind of bad for me because quick kind of makes it 1 harder, which means that I take damage as well.
Okay.
So I think maybe this cat takes damage at this point, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right. Probably have thought about whether I wanted to commit anything to that before I just pulled the thing out, shouldn't I? Okay, I take a horror.
Cool. I will draw Ancient Evils. Hooray!
Cool.
The crowd
Let's
go
go to the Crystal
wild.
Tavern.
I'm going to look in the discard pile and see how many of those we've had. Do you remember me doing this at the same time as we had all of those travails with technical difficulties? Spreading decks instead of
I think
searching them.
so.
Yeah, it's really annoying. Anyway. There we go. I think we've seen 2 of those. So there is a third waiting for us in these 18 cards.
Right, yeah. Let's go get this. Let's go get this pattern.
Yeah. Jessica,
Yeah.
I think this garbled sound is a little bit of a pain.
Okay. Do you want me to drop and rejoin?
I reckon so, yeah. Yeah. I'll start taking my turn while you do that. So I need to get these occult scraps out of my hand. So I'm going to use Dex's ability for the first time this game. So I discard an asset I control. Sadly, that's Azure Flame. And I put an asset with a different title. I play an asset with a different title from my hand. Reduce its cost by 1. It's cost is 0 already. Okay, that's a free trigger action. But it lines me up to bump it out of play next turn and put Clairvoyance into play. I think I have the right number of resources at that stage as well. So I will take the summon the Servitor's Investigate. So that's a failure. The Servitor's been quite unlucky this game, actually, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
think that's maybe marginally better. Do you have your camera on?
I'll put it on a second. Hang
on. It sounds a bit like if your connection isn't very strong. It sounds like audio.
Yeah.
What was that?
My laptop alleges that my connection is absolutely fine, so we'll have to believe it.
Yeah, I reckon let's just press on.
Sorry.
Yeah. We can troubleshoot this when we're not live, I reckon, or chat about how we might do that. I still can't see you though, which is a shame. My first actual action that's mine is I move to the barrier camp. Second is I move to the Rocky Crags. And I need to wait for you there, don't I? I think my third action will be drawing a card. Cool. Do you want to take your turn, Jessica?
Yeah, I'm just thinking about what I want to do during that turn.
Okay. I still can't see you.
I turned my ham on, so I don't know what else to do about that.
All right.
I've turned it on again. I will drop and rejoin.
Yeah,
can you see me now?
No, I'm afraid not. Yeah, I think the Servitor's been pretty unlucky, all told. One thing I was looking at actually was whether we picked up any of these supplies, because I think they are an interesting mechanic that we've somewhat neglected to do anything with. So I'm just going to check in the app. We've recovered the spare parts, not anything more.
Shall I get the dynamite while I'm here? I've got neither rain nor snow. I could almost certainly get the dynamite.
I feel that that's a thing that we might want in our adventure in Antarctica, so I would be in favour of you getting the dynamite.
Okay. This is one of those occasions where a quick learn is a bit of a fucker to have, but fine. Right, so
Oh, look.
it's a
You're
4
back.
versus 5. Am I back?
You're back. Yeah, yeah.
Hey!
Fantastic.
I can do this at +3, this test. So
Okay.
let's do that, shall we?
Yeah, do.
And then I'll regret having committed so many resources.
Do you need to take a damage?
Oh, shit, yes I do. Oh, in that case, do you know what? I'm actually going to spend two actions first to get rid of this, so I do need to.
Yeah, yeah, do it, and then do the test.
So this is now 8 versus 4, which seems a bit absurd, but fine. Yeah, cool. We got dynamite.
Okay, I will make a note of that.
Do we need one more resource, or should I just come to you?
I think you should come to me because we need to be in the same place for one of us to move into the crystalline caverns. Oh, you meant clue, right? Not resource.
Clue, yeah, that's what I meant.
No, I think moving here is the right call. We've got enough clues to get in there, and then there'll be some clues while we're in there. And I think it's unlikely those clues will be harder to get than they are at the barrier camp, or significantly harder. Famous last words, of course. So that was that your fourth action there?
Yeah.
Did you fail a test?
Shit, no. So.
Oh no, did you fail a test in the mythos phase?
Yeah. What was my mythos card?
I remember something bad happening to you. I've just shuffled the mythos deck by being an idiot.
I took a horror, so yeah, I did fail something.
Yeah, you definitely failed something. It was definitely bad. Yeah, I think that gives you your fourth action, doesn't it?
Sick. I didn't even know that. This deck is so strong.
Yeah. Yeah, an additional action this during your turn this round, so it triggers off mythos failure in the mythos phase.
I've probably been missing that interaction a bunch of times.
Oh really?
Yeah, I reckon so. Because I wasn't aware of it before now, so there's probably a bunch of times that I might still have. Oh, they probably could have used drawing thin on my first skill tests that I expected to lose, and all that sort of stuff. Cool. It's all good.
Yeah.
Fine. Right.
Okay.
We're good. I'm still doing extremely well.
Yeah. Okay, enemy phase, nothing happens. Let's have an upkeep phase. Boom. Quite literally, boom. Okay.
I'm taking the desperation out of this deck.
I don't think you should. We can. Well, this is a discussion for another day, but
yeah.
Yeah, mate. Anyway, I can't say this is a discussion for another day and then start it, can I? It's the mythos phase. We go to 2 doom of 6.
Okay, getting a little bit dicey. Right,
cheers.
That's 3 times 4 versus. I'm 4 versus 4 on this.
Yeah.
I don't massively want. Right. Yeah, sure, that's fine. I'll take 2 damage. Suddenly in like big vein of damage, but we move.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, you know
what?
Avery Cables is one of them damage.
Okay. Yep. That makes sense. Doesn't make sense. I think you should leave him till the end because his lasts longer than yours. We'll carry that over every time we want to play him.
That's true.
I get Dark Aurora, which is the converse to what you just had. So I'm testing 3, and I am a 5 normally, but I have a cult scraps in place on 4 versus 3. But I'm not going to commit clairvoyance to it. So I'm testing at 4 versus 3. So -2. So I take 2 horror. Wowie. Okay, yeah.
Okay.
I'm very nearly dead. This is not good.
Yeah, like I was bitching about how easy this was last week. And in like literally the last turn,
Yeah.
I've suddenly gone from like, yeah, we're fine. Like, shall we get one of them or 2 of them? To I'm not sure that we're going to survive this campaign.
Yeah.
Like literally in the last few card pulls, that's that's how quickly things change when you're out on the ice.
Yeah, yeah. It can catch up with you. Yeah, see, I've got loads of really good horror soak in Molly Maxwell, and I decided not to use it for my special card that I love. That so far netted us exactly 1 clue. So that's nice.
Yeah, but it's the joy of playing.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like, and you'll get clear stuff next time.
Okay, I would like to take my turn first.
Yes.
And I would like to start it with the servitor trying to investigate. 2 up, as we know. Hey, it's a clue. It's a clue. You did good. You did good, boy. You did good. Okay. So that's the servitor's turn. We can send it off to the icy wastes to look for more clues now.
Sure.
But first of all, I move into the crystalline cavern, and we spend 8 clues in order to do so. And
shall we spend?
Let's think. I would like to keep. Actually, I don't think we've got that much luxury. We've got 10 altogether. We've got exactly the right amount to spend those clues and then draw the card underneath, which is exactly what we want to do. So I think the next thing I do after moving there should be drawing that card. Let's have a look at the cavern first of all. So there is, okay, it's a 5 shroud location. There's also a 5 agility test to climb up the crystalline walls in search of evidence. It's very pretty. I stand by my lobbying for us to come here. It's got loads of clues. And we can get some miasmic crystal if we can pass a 5 agility test here.
Okay.
So first action move in here. I'm actually now going to use Dexter's ability to bump Cult Scraps out of play and bump Clairvoyance into play. And I am going to second action. Oh no. Oh, that's disappointing. If I had 1 more resource, I could use Clairvoyance and then do the first parlay on our recalcitrant group member. But I can't do that because I don't have the resource. So I think I just need to click for a resource. And spend those last 2 clues to draw Takada Hero. And I will then use an action to spend a resource to parlay and put a resource on her. And that's the end of my turn. Which means you can now come in here and do your big money parlay with her.
Yeah.
with your 4 actions
Yes.
that you already have, and
Yes.
we can dispense with her before the enemy phase, and she starts hitting me, which would hurt.
Fantastic. Let's do that. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 1. So I spend 4 more resources. Yeah, and 2 actions.
Yep.
I don't want to fail anything this turn, probably.
Fail anything?
Yeah, I'm just wondering about whether I should fail my. Sorry, I'm beginning to lose brain power. So I've used 3 of my 4 actions. I've got 1 more action.
That moving into here is, I think, moving into the location is your 1 more action.
1, 2, 3.
We need to put 10 resources on her altogether, so you need to spend 3 parlays and 9 resources to deal with her.
Okay, so it's literally every resource I have. Okay.
Yep.
And then for my last action, I'll play emergency cage.
You don't have a last action.
Oh shit, I don't.
Sorry. But we do. We are adding her to the victory display. We have got two of our 3 missing party members.
Yes.
We've got the crystalline cavern. I mean,
yeah, which we always wanted.
Scored goals. My son, if he was awake, I would be telling about it right now, and he'd be very excited. So I think we can definitely say we've achieved something right now. We have. So we're at the end of a turn, and in the next Mythos phase, we're going to go to 3 Doom of 6, and we need a turn and a bit to go back. So we've got a turn of 3 Doom of 6, 4 Doom of 6, 5 Doom of 6. We've got about 3 turns left.
We go back now. I don't think we do it. Like, I don't think there's any sense in trying to get into the snowbreaks at all. We don't have the resource. We don't have the clues to do so. We don't. We can assume that it takes about 2 turns to parlay whatever's in there, assuming it's in there, which is only a 50-50 chance anyway. Getting out of there and home would mean going through the ice, which neither of us can really afford to fail, and make life harder. I think we leave. We go to Icebreaker Landing and fall 2 out of 3. Good enough.
Hear me out, Jessica.
Oh no.
Have you considered that when we get to Icy Wastes, we're actually very close to the remnants of Lake's camp? Who's to say that what happened to Lake, whoever they were, was actually bad? Lake might have had just a massive party. Lake's camp might be a really great place. It's only 8 clues that surely we can pick up between us and the servitor, whose record in getting clues has improved by 100% in the last round. Let's go back and see how we feel. It's going to take us a turn and a bit to get there. We definitely want to be close to Icebreaker Landing, because if we get some encounter cards with Doom popping up and we are too far away to bail in 1 turn, then
this is entirely why I'm like, let's just leave. You said there's another innocent evils in the deck. I'm like, how? Well, okay, I guess so we have a 1 in 8 chance of pulling it every time. So we probably don't have 4 turns. We probably only have 3. And that's assuming that nothing else with Doom comes out on, which we've seen that there are like baddies that have Doom.
By this logic, Jessica, we shouldn't have gone on a damn fool expedition to the Antarctic to investigate Grotex monsters. So it's just not really in keeping. Now let's go back and see. Like we will find out what we draw in 2 of the forthcoming Mythos phases before we even get there.
What I would say is, if we were going to go with your plan, we would almost certainly need to try and get some clues off here, off the Crystalline Cavern,
Yeah.
And unfortunately, Liechtenstein Haven is just like quite hard. That's quite a hard place to investigate. I could do a look what I found, maybe.
Yeah.
Except I've got no resources. So like
Yeah.
it's neither of us have any resources.
Yeah. Yeah. I fluffed up my Dexter's ability actually, because I didn't think of that that annoying issue with the resource. So when I put clairvoyance into play, the turn on which I put it into play, because I've got showmanship, I'm actually investigating at a 9 and getting 2 clues.
Okay.
Which is quite a happy situation to be in a 5 shroud location. But yeah.
I don't think because we wouldn't just need 8, we'd need 10 because we need to flip the card as well. I definitely see it happening in 3 turns.
Cool. Do you want to try and recover some miasmic crystal?
Yeah, yes, I do want to do that because that's 1 action or like 2 actions at worst.
Yeah.
And like I'm probably the better person to do that.
I think so. Yeah. My agility is really weak. It's a 2.
Like my only thing is I'd probably spend a whole turn doing it because I don't want to do it with quick learner fucking me up. But
let's see what the Mythos phase brings us. But
yeah.
It's a question of how much we want. So 3 doom of 6. Whiteout. Okay. I think that is telling us that we are not going to get the miasma. I've also realised that I am 1 horror away from dying and or killing James Cookie Fredericks. Yeah. Okay. And there's a lost researcher that gets to do on it. So, do we want to have the lost researcher on our way home or not?
I strongly advocate for just leaving right now. Like, we should just get straight out of here.
So we are now. There's going to be 4 doom in play.
Yeah.
The next Mythos phase, we'll take that to 5. If we draw an Ancient Evils, that's kaput. I think the researcher should go in the Rocky Crags, and we should parlay with it on the way.
I think they should go in the barrier camp, and I think I should parlay with it on the way when I've got +1 from quick learner.
Okay. Yeah, sounds good. I will accept that. Cool. Sounds like you are... What was that?
It might be just as good having it in the Rocky Crags, but it doesn't matter that much. We're going to go through that way anyway.
Yeah. It sounds like you're moving first then.
Yeah. I'm going to fail to investigate here.
Okay.
Just as I can, and I might as well draw some cards, right?
Yeah.
We didn't do an update phase last time.
We didn't?
Well, we both have 0 resources, which just...
Yeah, that's true. Okay. Cool.
Sick.
Yeah.
All right, now I might actually be able to pass this Crystalline Cavern test.
Oh.
I've drawn a neither rain nor snow. And I have an auger in hand. So we'll call that 4. Which would put me on 8 versus 6.
You'd need to commit auger to...
Yes.
Yeah.
That's my plan. I'm not doing any more investigating this game.
Fine.
Okay. No. How many times must I tell you?
It's time to set Avery Claypool on the Chaos Bag. Did you use one of Avery's...
Yes.
You did, yeah, cool.
Yes. We have my asset crystal, which I'm really happy about.
I have coveted one of these for a very long time, so I'm extremely happy about that. Right, I will make a record.
All right, we probably should have put that thing on the rocky first. Never mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, because now I don't have enough actions to get towards it and get to it and fight it, or parlay it as well.
Okay, that's all right.
Right, I might as well draw it then. It's 3.
Why are you drawing
And
10?
we'll call it to investigate, to get a 3 action, which I draw like 3 cards.
Okay.
Seems like a reasonable thing to do with my
Yeah.
time. Oh shit! I actually need to do the. Sorry, I forgot. I need to actually fail the test.
Well, with drawing thin, I don't think you do you? I think drawing thin, you get the card, one card first. Have you been playing drawing thin that you get 2 cards every time?
No, I haven't. I did do it that time though.
Okay.
I'm doing 1 resource, 2 resources, still 1 card.
Yeah.
I've forgotten that actually you get drawing thin even if it passes. But
yeah.
It's not often very relevant. Okay. So that's 5. Except it's 7, except it's 8. I definitely fail it. Fine.
Yeah.
So it's 2 with rabbit's foot.
Yeah.
Cool. I've planned this time very, very badly. So this is action 3.
I think I can get there and do the parlay, so don't worry. He said encouragingly. Will it kill you if it's engaged with you?
Not unless something else bad happens, but
this is Arkham. Nothing else bad's going to happen. It'll be fine. I think.
And I would then be ready to resign next time.
I think that's worth doing.
Cool. I might actually give all of the damage to the cat, which I don't think I'm going to need at this point.
Yeah.
Which feels extremely evil, but okay, cool.
Right.
Cool.
So the Lost Researcher is in your threat area. It's engaged you.
Yes, he is.
Okay. For my turn, I will move, and parlay. So I am a 5 versus 3. I will commit guts. So I'm a 7 versus 3. That's a -2. So I am a 5 versus 3. So that's a success. I exhaust Lucky Cigarette Case and draw a card. The Doom becomes a clue. The Lost Researcher goes away. Spend some time with the goo in his eyes. And that is the end of our turn. Oh no! Forgetting something very important. Summon Servitor moves to this location, the Precarious Ice Sheet.
Excellent. Upkeep.
Indeed. Oh my. Right.
I'm not going to look at that because I saw it's in peril. So I'm going to actually follow the rules and not read any of it.
It sucks, but anyway.
Yeah, I can imagine it does.
Yeah. Mythos phase?
Yeah, and if this Mythos phase doesn't kill us, and assuming there's not something I don't know, then we win. or we don't lose.
I will tell you about the quandary that I'm in when I'm allowed to discuss it, which isn't quite right now.
Okay.
We have 4 doom of 6.
Cool.
Please draw an encounter card.
Abandoned Madness. Attach the nearest possessed enemy and place 1 doom on the enemy. If there are no possessed enemies in play, search the encounter deck and discard the pile for a possessed enemy, draw it and attach Abandoned Madness to it. Shuffle the encounter deck. Oh, okay. Okay. So we need to find an enemy.
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah, I think this might lose us the game.
There's a small chance if I draw the 1 in 13 Ancient Evil, yes, it might do. Otherwise not.
Okay, we need to pick an enemy to put this on.
Yeah, we search the encounter deck and discard pile. Okay, I'm going to propose that we search the discard pile and keep the Ancient Evil's density as it is, rather than removing another card from the encounter deck.
Yes. How
about our friend the Lost Researcher back from some quality time with their miasmic Aigu, ready once again to come and join the expedition.
But wouldn't that cause us to immediately lose? Because this is going to add a doom to that.
Yes.
I don't think there's a possessed enemy that doesn't come with a doom on it. Which is why I think this card makes us lose.
No, a possessed enemy. So there's a couple of things here. A possessed enemy, I believe, always does come with a doom on it. We need to find.
Yeah.
We need to find one, and whichever one we pick is going to have a doom on it. We're at 4 doom at the moment. Of 6.
Yeah.
The agenda doesn't flip when we meet the threshold. It flips if the threshold is met at the point where we check, which is after we place the doom on it, not after we've drawn encounter cards.
Okay.
Ancient Evils has extra text that says this may cause the agenda to advance.
Okay.
So we can introduce doom into play. What we want to avoid happening is drawing Ancient Evils, which can cause that doom to count towards the agenda flipping.
Okay, I trust you. Let's follow this plan.
Okay. The Lost Researcher, I think, can go and hang out in Lake's camp, right? We're not going to have any... We're agreed we're not having anything to do with this. We're just getting the hell out of this round.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the only thing that can stop us is Ancient Evils, at which point we lose anyway, regardless, right?
Yeah. Okay. Shuffle the encounter deck. Okay. 1 in 13 chance.
Yeah.
It's Polar Mirage.
Yes. Okay, cool.
Okay. Nearest location with at least 1 clue and without a copy of Polar Mirage attached, which is our location. Okay. That researcher, bless their miasmic eyes, has... I'm not happy about it, but has clarified my quandary.
Yeah.
Which is that I'm not going to stick around for another turn to see whether...
I can't believe you were even thinking about it. Okay.
Well, when I explain it to you, you will understand.
Sure.
It's bad. It's really bad. I'm going to move, resign. How about you?
Yeah, I think I'm going to do the same.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to be a real dick and be like, I think I'm going to draw it then first, so I want to draw more cards this game. I'm not going to. I'm too anxious.
I have Unspeakable Oath Curiosity in my hand, which means that I earn 2 fewer experience.
Oh, son of a bitch! I'm really sorry.
So that's the quandary. I was like, can I possibly justify the one action I need to investigate
Yeah.
and get that bastard thing out of my hand? And no, with 5 doom in play,
No,
absolutely not. No, no, 5 doom in
I mean, with
play.
six in
One
hand, you have
sanity
16.
left.
Yeah, like if we had not ended the game that turn, we would have lost the game. 100%.
You reckon?
Well, right. So I don't think you put the second Doom onto last research. We're actually at 6. I don't, we're actually at 16. So the moment we got to the checkpoint, we were going to lose.
Yeah, I mean, if we wanted to not do this, we'd have had to put the lost research on the icy wastes and parlay
Yeah, that's
them
true.
on our way home, and just hope that we didn't draw ancient evils. Which I've actually just checked, we wouldn't have. We would have drawn abandon to madness and ice shaft.
Yeah.
But
It's a hard one. 'Cause it's what a roughly 1 in 10 chance that you're fucking around with. Is a 1 in
yeah,
10 chance of losing the game worth it to get you more experience? And that I think that's genuinely a hard call.
yeah. I mean, when you factor in that it's not just ancient evils that will do it for me as well, it's take any horror.
Yeah,
If I take one horror, I can kill off Cookie, which really sucks. If I take more than one horror, that's me killed off as well. And so
yeah,
take a test and take horror if you fail, or take horror if you draw a frost token. If there's another one
yeah.
of those in there as well, the odds start to look really shit. So yeah, I'm sucking up that unspeakable oath. Boy, oh boy, do I hate that, because XP is pretty much the funnest thing in this game.
Yeah, totally.
Like, but yeah, what can you do? We have survived, Jessica.
We have. I feel pretty good about how the game went. I
Yeah,
think that we had a little bit of bad luck with the Aurora landing on the icy wastes,
yeah.
and I
I had
think
to
that we made.
go on.
I think that we maybe lost a turn or even two. Because at some point we had a plan that then we realized just didn't work. And like I remember like floating off like halfway across the board and then turning around and coming back to
Yeah,
barrier camp because I
yeah,
realized that we needed to. And like if we hadn't have done those things, maybe we could have got. Do you know what? I was going to say if we hadn't have done those things, we'd have thought we could get the other person. But can we find out actually where they were?
yeah. That's Darnforth in the Snowgraves. This is a bit like
How did you
Cluedo,
get
isn't it?
them?
With the lead piping. Poor Blake. He's obviously highly traumatized, and he's just run off the Snowgraves. I hope we don't lose him, because he's one of the partners with a really, really good strong ability. Anyway, we'll find out. We'll find out.
I mean, we would have had to draw 6 Tequila Leo cards to get him back on side. Just so you know, like that's. I don't think that we had the resources. Like, I mean, like overall resources in terms of health and time and all of that sort of stuff to deal with 6.
Yeah, that fucking suck. That would really suck. Yeah. Okay. Would you do us the honors of reading the flip side of the act and the scenario resolution?
Yes. Turning in. With night coming to a close, the storm approaches faster and faster. Soon, the weather will be too deadly for your search to continue. If anyone is still out there, you doubt they'll survive, and neither will you if you remain unsheltered any longer. You return to your camp, your heart heavy with guilt and your mind addled by that foul noise that festers within. Go to resolution 1, which is somewhere.
Oh no, hang on. Rewind. This is our system.
Yeah, there we go, do not read. It's clear that something compelled your teammates to venture away from the safety of your camp. Something alien, and mysterious. Things that defies your understanding of Antarctica. None of those who wandered off remember why they did so or what they were doing, almost as if their memories were wiped clean. Or perhaps their consciousness was supplanted by another. In any event, they seem to have recovered. You mourn those you've lost and prepare for the day ahead. Rest or no rest, you have only one chance to survive. And then it's all about the sort of mechanical stuff, which I'm not going to read right now, unless you'd like to.
No, that's fine. So we victory for let's see how much victory we get. No, it's over here. There's a total of 2.
Sorry.
This is
I'm so sorry.
Hey, yeah. So I'm gonna upgrade no cards in my deck this scenario.
But I mean, we're not playing this in for a long time, are we? So I'll go away and have a think about it.
Yeah. Cool. So we've rescued the ones who we brought back. The others are dead, and then we proceed to checkpoint 2, the attack, which I think we probably want to read now, actually. If you have the gumption for it.
Sure. The attack. You barely have time to rest before the sound of something erupting out of the ground nearby shakes you to your core. Massive tremors follow, sending cracks to the ice all around you. Then that noise, that insidious piping. Whatever those creatures you encountered earlier were, you're sure they came from under the ice, breaking or seeping through to reach the surface. They must somehow live under the glacial crust of Antarctica. These quakes can only mean one thing. Your imagination stirs with visions of these monsters bursting forth all around you, creeping into your eyes and mouth, controlling you. It's clear you aren't safe here any longer. The investigation must decide. Choose one. Run for your lives. You will skip the next part of the scenario, proceed to the attack. 2. Stand and fight. You will play the next part of the scenario, skip to the attack 3 if you wish to do so immediately, or the attack 4 you wish to take a break and proceed the next time you play.
It's very sporting. It's very sporting of these monstrous creatures to give us the option of like a breakfast, an afternoon tea break before battle commences.
What do you think? Did we get our health and stuff reset?
Yes.
The question.
We do.
Cool. I say we fight.
I say we fight. I think we want to run the full gamut of the edge of the earth and everything's got to fly at us. So let's do it.
Ooh.
So the attack 4.
You've decided to fight off the attacking creatures. In the item deck section of the campaign log, under locations revealed, record each location you have revealed. These locations will start in play and revealed the next time you play. Clean up the game as normal. The normal way by pressing a button.
Yeah.
When you are ready to play again, begin at Ice Attack Part 3.
Great. Cool.
Cool indeed.
Well,
right.
I'm glad we managed to get that finished. Has been an epic undertaking.
It has. That was a really thrilling ending as well. We got out by the skin of our teeth. In the end, it didn't feel like it was going to be like that, and then it very much was.
Yeah. I don't propose you actually do this, but you could look back a good 2.5 hours back through our recorded plays of this, and I think we had an exchange where you said, "I'm finding this a bit easy," and I said, "The game has ways. The game has its ways of running you pretty close by the end of it." But yeah, that's fun. I think both of our decks are doing quite well.
Yeah, I think so too.
I'm very sorry that I don't have 3 experience to spend on charisma. That would really tie my deck
So
together.
sorry, though. If I could give it to you within the mechanics of the game, I genuinely would.
Yeah, I know.
But I absolutely can't.
That's fine. That's fine. I have a long summer to get over my butt hurt on this occasion.
Yeah, please don't be sitting in China thinking about this. I think that would be miserable.
Right. So, yeah, we are going to pick this up again in the autumn after. So I'm away until early September, and so we're having a big Arkham break.
Yeah.
And we talked a bit about maybe doing an extra stream early next week. I'm tentative about that now, Jessica.
I'm tentative about it too. One of the reasons we were going to do an early stream is so that we didn't get into a situation where we were spilling over, like Arkham was, where this scenario was split over like 4 months or something stupid, or whatever it's going to be. It's only going to be a month, but you know what I mean. And then we made an executive decision that we are so excited by the new cards that the old cards seem like crap to us, and we don't really know about them. Sorry. But also, like, I'm kidding on the square. Like, it's a little bit tough to have looked at all these exciting new cards and then be like, I guess it'll be Big Harsh in Asmari. You know, I think the next game of Netrunner I play is going to be with an Arasana deck. Actually, on Monday night at our local meta, because we've all decided that we can just play with the new cards.
Oh, of course. It's the thing you can do, isn't it? In real life, you don't need to wait for somebody to implement them on Netrunner DP.
Me and Lou, who's one of the people who spoiled the card on Monday, who's Dreadmore on TLC, will probably sit and proxy a load of cards by hand, which we've done a few times. Sometime I'll have to do an art showcase of some of the abysmal art that we've created for our proxies.
Yeah, let's definitely do that. That sounds like excellent content. I'm hyped for it. Okay, so I think that probably sounds like we might not do another stream then, unless like if
I think probably not.
If the cards go live on JNet, which I haven't seen any indication that they're likely to on the release date, but I could be wrong about that.
I don't think they will. I really don't think they will. By Monday.
Yeah, I think that the JNet developers have undertaken to have them ready by the Asia Pacific tournament dates.
It's like a week after that, right?
It's like the 6th, I think, or the 7th.
Yeah.
So it's definitely not the 31st of July. So I think that's pretty unlikely. If they do pop up, and I'm not like completely stressed with trying to finish off my work and packing for going away,
sounds like you might be.
It's my won't. But if that happens, I would really love to fit and play with them because I'm really excited. But yeah. I think we probably need to leave that possibility dangling.
Yeah. Cool. Well, we'll meet again. Don't know where, don't know when.
Yeah.
Probably in about 6 weeks, would be my guess.
Yeah. I'm back. When am I back? I'm back on a... I think I'm back on a Thursday, actually. But I don't think I'm going to stream that evening. But
I might... Sorry,
but we can talk about that. What were you going to say?
I might take the opportunity of you going to China and us not doing it for a month or so to finally like make one of the videos that I've been talking about doing, which are like not the most groundbreaking stuff, but like I think that there are some cards that newer players routinely misplay. So like the first, if I say it out, I don't mean to put it right. Spin Doctor is a card that, well, at least when I was in startup, I would watch players on the other side of the table play it wrong over and over and over again. Like, they wouldn't play it illegally. You can't do that on JNet. But like, they would do things with it where I was like, you could have gotten so much more value there. one way or another, you could have gotten so much more value that it cannot be correct what you've just done. I think people, without giving away what I would say in that video, I think people think the wrong things about Ben Doctor, including relatively advanced players at this game.
Yeah. I mean, it was that specific card that you had to tell me was a staple in every Corp deck, because I was not taking it because I thought it looked boring when I when I first started playing Startup way back when.
I mean, NSG have done a wonderful job of giving Corps alternatives to Ben Doctor now. Like we do have, I think every faction except Wayland at the moment has got a decent alternative to Ben Doctor. But it does so many things all at the same time. And I will hopefully get my saddle together and make a little video explaining all of it.
I think that would be awesome. Yeah.
I think it'd be awesome too.
And I think it would be nice for people to have something to watch while I'm not around.
Yeah, when I'm
as far as I can tell, all the other content creators are shutting up shop and not doing anything interesting. So everyone will be starved of content. So definitely,
it's a very, very boring time in the Netrunner calendar.
Exactly.
Like you take a quiet time to go away. Definitely.
I did think about whether it was reasonable for me to join the APAC tournament. Given that I'm actually going to be in Asia. I decided that it was not a good idea because I don't know how JNet's going to function on the wrong side of the Great Firewall. I'm not confident of my ability to sign up for it and actually turn up to the tournament. And there's also the matter of me like being not a particularly good player and the card pool being like a morass of unknown cards. I like if I was going to China to not do anything other than sit around to use the computer, I would almost certainly sign up for the tournament and like have a pop with some deck that I've made myself and see what happened, which is probably me getting knocked out in 2 rounds. But in fact, if I knew that was definitely going to be the case, I could probably justify it. But trying to explain to my in-laws that I'm going to spend 12 hours looking at a website that's completely incomprehensible to them.
Totally.
On like my 3rd day with them is probably not going to wash in a whole load of ways. So
I would be real with you. I think if you're talking about doing the other thing, if you're talking about actually playing that tournament, I would be staging a little intervention with you, right? Telling you to spend time with your in-laws that you've not seen for a very, very long period of time, and like just make an impression.
Yeah, my in-laws are a funny proposition because I love them very much and I'm very fond of them, but we can't communicate. We don't have a shared language in common. Almost all of them. Like a couple of my wife's cousins can speak a bit of English. My Mandarin is not poor enough to hold a conversation. So while I'm there, there's actually quite a lot of hanging around, smiling, and in the latter end of my time there, it's entirely justifiable for me to sit in front of a computer and not really interact with anyone. But in the first few days, few days, it's a bad look. So, that's the end of my Asia Pacific Championship dream for this year.
Definitely. Cool. Right, shall we say good night, folks?
Let's. Thanks for joining us, everyone. I've had a blast.
Likewise. I've been Jessica.
I've been Dave.